To discuss the significance of the day, we are joined by the founder of NAF Foundation, Nafisat Atiku. Thank you for your time, Nafisat.
Thank you so much, Dapper, for having me. Good evening.
When we say girls in Nigeria should be given the right conditions to thrive contextually, now what does that mean and how important is that for them?
Well, thank you so much for that question. International Day for the Girl Child is usually one of my favorite days when it comes to celebrating women. Why? Because I believe that the empowerment that we seek for women, politically, in leadership, economically, climate change, and in every other sphere, right, starts from empowering women, especially when they are young. And that's really been the focus of most of my work. So in terms of contextually, to answer your question, especially when we're talking about, Nigeria as a nation, as a country, we need to first of all understand the challenges that exist towards before girls can, explore their potential to become the women that they are destined to be as leaders in a globalized world. We talk about the impediments to, education in terms of access to finance, to be able to go to school, conflict, banditry, sexual reproductive health. We also talk about the issues of technology. We also talk about the issues of cultural norms and stereotypes, which, in the clip that was just shown from Abia State, we can see participants talking about how social norms and cultural stereotypes do, restrict the potential of these young girls from believing that they can achieve, everything that they set their mind to. It's more of like a social norms re-engineering project, right? Making sure that in society that the different units that exist between the media, to the family, to the educational institutions, to the government, to, the religious institutions have the values and are also inculcating those values in our young women that they can believe, they can achieve, they can dream without any sense of limit, and also support them and give them the tools, especially technology, in order to, maximize their future and maximize their potential. Because we all know that with the basically AI and technology, we know that we're heading into another digitalized world, and it's important that we equip these young girls with the future to be able to own their their aspirations.
Now, what would you consider the most pressing challenges faced by girls in Nigeria, and how do you feel these challenges can be addressed?
Wow. Is there just one critical challenge? I don't think so. But, to answer your question, I will once more go back again to the issue of social norms and stereotypes. There are a lot of, I'll give you an example, a practical example, right? I wrote a book in 2019 called Girls Just Want to Run, and that was driven out of my own experience, trying to get involved in politics as a young woman. And I remember being at a stand and, putting my books for sale so that young women could come and read it. And there was a young lady, like around 16-ish, 15, 16, 17 maximum. And then she saw the book and she said, that she doesn't think that she should be involved in politics because, it's not something that she's exposed to, that she was told, young women shouldn't belong in politics. That's a mindset, that's a norm, that's a value that has been passed across to her by the society and the socialization that she's been exposed to. So there is a lot. So I would say in terms of the most critical challenge that we have right now in Nigeria that says an impediment to girls and their progression and exploring their potential are the beliefs that we have as a society that young girls should be sent to the kitchen and there are some careers that they should not pursue. Because you know what, that also affects our lawmakers when they are sitting down, in the legislative chamber and they are making laws and policies for our young girls with the perspective that these girls don't belong in leadership, they don't deserve to explore their potential. So that really needs to change. We as a country need to go through some sort of engineering of the stereotypes and the social norms that guide us to be able to make room for this limited boundless potential to flourish.
All right, now tell us more about this year's theme and what you feel is the target.
So this year's theme, I think for me, and to my own best understanding and on the research that I've done, is centering the voices and amplifying the voices of young girls in designing the interventions that they need. So, it's her vision for the future. It's not our vision for the future. it's her vision. So it's giving them the opportunity and the platforms to voice out their concerns, to voice out their needs, to voice out their aspirations, and for the rest of us to put our hands together as allies to provide the support systems, the tools, and the resources for them to be able to reach their potential and, achieve their dreams. So I think beyond anything that we'll talk about here is that center the voices of young women and young girls in the interventions, initiatives that address them. Listen to them. Don't just put them in a cupboard and say they don't know what is good for them. Hear them out and be the support system, the tools and resources for them to be able to use, because they can do a lot more than we give them credit for. That's my experience.
All right. Thank you so much for your time on the news, Nafisa Atiku.
You're welcome. Thank you.